Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to one in my photography short bite series. I recently went on a walk with a relative to the upper Wye Valley, just north of the beautiful town of Ross-on-Wye in the county of Herefordshire. It was a circular walk with 3 churches and 2 bridges. The first village and church was most impressive. It is called Hoarwithy. Firstly though, a coffee and stop in Ross-on-Wye, where I took these photographs. The Man of Ross pub in Wye Street has recently been refurbished on the outside. The man himself, the Man of Ross, was one John Carroll, who did much charitable work to aid the town. The town was looking particularly colourful, bright and lively. The village of Hoarwithy sits right on the River Wye. There is a pub called the New Harp. It also contains the village's shop. The church in the village is a gem, one of the very finest in the 3 counties of Gloucestershire, Herefordshire and Worcestershire. The entrance is via a set of steps taking you to an extended porch with a mosaic floor. In 1866 the church was somewhat dowdy, but it became beautiful between 1878 and 1879. But why? Well, it was the Reverend Poole who considered it to be ugly, so he commissioned an architect, one John Pollard Seddon, to do some Italian Romanesque designs for it. It is certainly most striking in the familiar red sandstone. Well, you'll be familiar with that if you've been following my Geopark Way walking series here on the channel. The church is a strange mix of Byzantine, Venetian and Lombardic designs amongst many others. I was most impressed with this wonderful and incredible building. It's not that old, but it appears to be much older than it really is. And I felt it had a great sense of character, and I'm sure the villagers are very, very proud of it. We then crossed over Hoarwithy Bridge, which was originally a timber bridge in 1856, but had been replaced by an iron one in 1876. There was originally a toll you had to pay to cross the bridge, and the toll house still stands proud next to the bridge. Hoarwithy itself means the willow tree on the boundary. Herefordshire Council bought the bridge in 1935, abolishing the tolls, and they replaced the bridge in 1990 with the present day one. The next village we walked to was Caple, which sits on higher ground above the river. Because of this, a castle was sited here. Just the tump remains though, beside the church. The church and the village sits in the largest loop on the River Wye. Nearby was once the Hereford, Ross-on-Wye and Gloucester railway line, and a station at Fawley served the village itself. The church here was also delightful. We found a large fungi nearby. Further down to the banks of the river is the curiously named hamlet of Sellack Boat, where there used to be a ferry across the river. It's now been replaced by a rather rickety suspension bridge, which not only swings up and down, but from side to side too. In fact, we both couldn't wait to get off on the other side of the bridge. It made us feel somewhat queasy. The suspension bridge was built by one Louis Harper, a company founded by the man of the same name, based all the way up in Aberdeen in Scotland, and it was built in 1895 to link King's Caple to Sellack on the other side of the river. It was the local Reverend Augustine Lee who persisted to get the bridge to be built. One of the reasons he was a Reverend of both King's Caple and Sellack, so it was a struggle for him to get between his two parishes. The golden fields hereabouts glistened in the sun-drenched fields. On the opposite bank in Sellack, after crossing the suspension bridge, we came to St Tylo's church here in tiny Sellack. Originally called Llansulloch, which means Sellack's church, it's the only English church dedicated to this Welsh saint. St Tylo himself lived in the 7th century, and he was born in Shrewsbury, right on the Welsh marches, and his father was the King of Powys. He established a monastery in St Sellack in Brittany, in fact died there in 850. The church here at Sellack was altered much in 1840. Some of the stained glass dates from the 15th, 16th and 17th centuries. We continued our walk along the Wye after leaving the church to head back to Hoarwithy and our car, the sun glinting on the top of the water in the river. The seed heads slowly dispersed and drifted across it. Thank you very much for watching one in my short bite photography series today here on West Country Wanderings. There'll be another video in the not too distant future. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you again. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.